From WFTV, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 6. Coverage you can count on.
A freak traffic crash in high speed ejected a driver and sent him crashing through the roof of a house. And it left one homeowner with an alarming wake-up.
So I got up and turned the light on in the bedroom to see what had happened, see if we'd been hit by lightning. And then I turned the light off, and boy, all of a sudden there was lights everywhere flashing. And
tonight, the Florida Highway Patrol says the driver may have been going up to 100 miles an hour. Good evening, I'm Cynthia Demas. George Estevez is off tonight. The teenager was driving with a friend early this morning when the car rolled over several times and sent debris everywhere along Lake Unity Road near Fruitland Park. The driver ended up inside one man's roof, and the passenger was found dead next to a home. Channel 9's Jameson Euler has more from Lake County.
man, they had to be moving.
Lightning is what Sam Rednauer thought hit his home around 2 this morning. But instead of smoke, he found a dead teenager lying near the wreckage of a teal Pontiac outside his home. But when investigators arrived, a clue on Rednauer's roof told them one more victim was missing.
There was one body laying out there in the yard, and they couldn't find the other body, and they saw this hole up there, and they wanted to examine that hole, and when he went in through my access to my attic inside, well, then they found the body up there.
It was the driver, 19-year-old Aaron Porter, barely alive. On the lawn was his friend, 16-year-old Kenneth Vandergriff, dead from being ejected from the Pontiac. This half-mile straightaway on Lake Unity Road provided the ground to get going. Eyewitnesses put the boys traveling close to 100 miles per hour before their car flipped 5 times in front of Rednauer's home. Trees were knocked down, a tire broke away and crashed through his front door, and Porter's body landed through the roof with such force it cracked the walls below.
Never heard of anything like this in my life, where they'll throw them up so high and so hard that they'll go through the roof of a house and into the attic.
The 19-year-old driver later died at ORMC. All day, friends of the two teens stopped by to see the site for themselves, even touching the evidence left behind. Rednauer and his neighbors say the street outside his Lake County home is sometimes reminiscent of a drag strip. But at the end of the strip, this homeowner says there is no victory, only pain.
I'm just concerned if he was ready to meet the Lord, because that's what happened.
Jameson Euler, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And to add to the tragedy, friends say Aaron Porter just saw his little boy turn 1 year old. Those same friends also tell us they're trying to get a fundraising car wash going in the next week or two to raise money for their funeral expenses. The Florida Highway Patrol is investigating a deadly motorcycle crash. A Seminole County deputy attempted to pull over a motorcycle on I-4, but the man didn't stop. He instead sped off. Later, a deputy was flagged down for a crash at I-4 and 434. Well, it turns out the accident involved the same motorcyclist, and he had been killed. He slammed into a parked tractor trailer, and his body ended up underneath a pickup truck. Tropical storm Gaston is moving north tonight after coming ashore today in South Carolina. People just north of Charleston first felt the almost hurricane-strength winds and flooding rains. The storm is hitting some of the same communities that were hit during Hurricane Charlie earlier this month. Across the state, trees broke in two, and water began seeping into some homes. At least 75,000 homes lost power.
It's flooded out. Okay. Whole houses are flooded with water.
Inland residents are now at risk for the threat of tornadoes. South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford has declared a state of emergency. And right now, here is a live look from our Daytona Beach tower cam, where remnants of Gaston are sending some rain down in some sections of the beach. Looks like there might be some rain kind of out there at sea. It looks a little hazy there. Meteorologist Jamie Martin is in Severe Weather Center 9 with more on Gaston, new information about Hurricane Francis, and, Jamie, a third storm?
Yeah, a third storm. We just can't seem to get enough here, can we, in the tropics? Boy, I tell you what, it's extremely busy out there, and there is a little shower in the southern parts of Daytona Beach right now. But, boy, we're going to focus on the tropics first, because it's been pretty quiet across most of central Florida. First, we have what's left of Gaston moving its way in towards North Carolina. Newly formed Hermione out here, and then also Francis well offshore, but still a very, very powerful hurricane. Boy, it is busy out there in the tropics, and it's going to be busy here over the next week or so as we watch the progression of that very strong hurricane. Again, winds to 135 miles per hour. That's all associated with Hurricane Francis. Right now, it is moving to the west at 9 miles per hour, so it is taking that turn to the west that unfortunately we were anticipating. And here's a quick look at the track that it looks like it will take over the next 5 days, coming dangerously close to Florida, possibly by the beginning of the Labor Day weekend. We'll talk more about that track and the latest tropical storm. That's all ahead.
All right, thanks for that, Jamie. Well, it's been more than 2 weeks since Hurricane Charlie crossed Central Florida, but the recovery process is far from over. During a news conference held by the Federal Emergency Management Agency today, we learned there are 286 people in the 8 shelters that are still open. If you need assistance from FEMA, call 1-800-621-FEMA. That's 1-800-621-FEMA. Orlando residents still have about an hour to drop off any storm debris at the dumping site at Ferris and Montana roads. Workers will take the debris until 7 tonight. The site is open to anyone who lives in Orlando, but you got to bring some kind of ID with you to prove you do live in the city limits. Several people brought truckloads of debris already this morning. They say they were glad to get it out of their yards.
I think it's extremely convenient. There's seen a lot of them around the area. There's some in other areas in Winter Park, and a lot of our neighbors are starting to bring stuff over here. So I think it's been a big help, and the people here are really friendly and really helpful. We got a nice system worked out, get you in and get you out.
And the city asks that you do not bring construction debris or trash to this site. It is expected to be open again next weekend. And be sure to stay with Channel 9 Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of the recovery from Hurricane Charlie. We're putting new information as it comes in on our website at WFTV.com. Tonight, a case of road rage may have led to 2 people being stabbed in Orange County. One man is dead, the other in the hospital. We first told you about this last night. Channel 9's Gustavo Almodovar joins us live along Chickasaw Trail with the latest. Gustavo?
Well, Cynthia, we've just found out that Orange County Sheriff's deputies have made an arrest in this case. His name is Jose Manuel Sanchez. We've been told that he's been charged with 1 count of second-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. More on that in just a moment. But first, let me just tell you that authorities say that this is where it all started. Harvey Berry was on his way. He was pulling out of this parking lot right here when detectives say that Sanchez was driving a gold compact car northbound on Chickasaw Trail. Now, they believe that one cut off the other. We're still not sure exactly who cut off who, but investigators say that their confrontation escalated violently less than 2 miles up the road.
He stabbed me with a knife. He's got a knife.
Those are the words 37-year-old Harvey Berry uttered to his mother seconds before he staggered toward her and collapsed face down in her driveway. Linda Pate, who agreed to talk with us on camera if we didn't show her face, explains what happened next.
I reached down and I turned him over. And I tried to talk to him, and I couldn't get a response.
Her son was stabbed Saturday night shortly before 9. Barry and a female friend had just pulled into the driveway of his mom's house on Chickasaw Trail. Right behind their motorcycle, though, was a man in a gold compact car. Investigators say Barry got off his motorcycle to confront that driver.
I said, "Stop it." I said, "What's going on? What are y'all doing?"
A family friend rushed to help Barry. Investigators say soon after that, both Barry and John Thomas Ray were stabbed, and whoever did it drove away.
If someone has a need to have a rage, then driving a vehicle is not something they should even consider doing any more than if they were drunk driving.
Once again, the man that investigators believe is responsible for these crimes, his name is Jose Manuel Sanchez. He was arrested within the past hour at his home in Orlando. He was taken to the Orange County Jail and held with no bond. For now, we're live in Orange County. Gustavo Almodovar, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks for that, Gustavo. Security managers in New York are making final preparations tonight for the Republican National Convention. Police officers and Secret Service agents are working together to set up checkpoints near Madison Square Garden. That is the site of the 4-day convention. Law enforcement officers are also guarding the Big Apple's ports, bridges, and tunnels. The governor of New York says even the tens of thousands of protesters are under control.
And this police force knows how to treat people with respect when they're simply trying to exercise freedom of speech, but they also know how to arrest people if they're going to break the law and try to disrupt others' ability to engage in their freedom of speech.
Republican delegates will listen to speeches from Senator John McCain, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, First Lady Laura Bush, and California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. President Bush arrives in New York on Wednesday. He began his day-to-day at a church, then held campaign rallies in West Virginia. Democratic challenger John Kerry is taking a break from the campaign trail tonight. He spent the day today at his home in Nantucket, Massachusetts. For the most part, the Kerry campaign says he's lying low this week. The next event is a speech on Wednesday to the American Legion Conference in Nashville, Tennessee. Florida's primary elections are on Tuesday. Registered Republicans and registered Democrats will choose their candidates for races that will be decided in the November general election. One of the more high-profile primary races is between the candidates who want the bid to run for U.S. Senator Bob Graham's seat in the Senate. Those registered independent will get a nonpartisan ballot. Polls are open from 7 in the morning till 7 at night on Tuesday. An Orange County man was attacked by an alligator.
When the people who own this house found an alligator in their driveway, they tried to do something about it, but the gator had other ideas. I'm Channel 9's Josh Einiger. That story's next on Eyewitness News.
We're getting a little busy out there, even locally, not just the tropics. We're talking about some thunderstorms on early warning Doppler 9000 out towards both coasts in Brevard County and Volusia County. We'll talk about those and track them coming up.
A live picture for you here. Will the third time be a charm for the launch of the Atlas II rocket? We'll have an update on the Space Coast coming up. An East Orange County man was attacked by an alligator today after he tried to catch it when he saw it in his backyard. The attack happened off Lake Live Oak Drive in the Avalon Park development. Channel 9's Josh Einiger has more.
The gator crawled out of that pond, across the sidewalk, here across the street, and right down that alleyway in between those two houses, all the way to the backyards where homeowners tried to trap it.
If it would have been the bigger one, I probably wouldn't have gone near it.
But when Dan Hornock tried to remove the 5-footer in his backyard, the gator tried to remove Hornock's hand.
So I tried to lasso it, I guess I'll say, and it didn't work.
He had gone to mow his yard Sunday morning when he discovered the gator wandering around his lawn, into his garage, and under his wife's car. They called 911, but felt they should trap it in case it tried to leave.
I just thought we could keep him there until somebody showed up.
But the gator had other ideas. It took a bite and got away.
Do not try and attempt to move an alligator yourself. This is absolutely 100% avoidable.
State Fish and Wildlife experts eventually found it back in the pond where it came from, and a professional trapper took it away, leaving Dan Hornock to ponder a very serious lesson.
If you see an alligator in your backyard, just leave it alone.
Because it's so obviously dangerous, it is a crime in the state of Florida to feed, move, or trap an alligator, but investigators say Dan Hornock probably will not face any fines here. Meantime, as for the gator, it's not like it had the last laugh here either. It has been taken away to be destroyed. In East Orange County, Josh Einiger, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Josh. In about 45 minutes, the Air Force will try once again to launch an Atlas rocket from Cape Canaveral. The launch was scrubbed yesterday. This is a live picture for you. It was scrubbed just 40 minutes before it was set to lift off yesterday. A technical problem with the liquid oxygen was the main reason for the latest delay. When the rocket finally goes up, it will carry a military satellite into orbit. It's scheduled to launch just before 7 tonight. If it goes up, and this is their third time trying, you can see it live right here on Channel 9. Keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully the weather will cooperate as well. But the big focus in the weather department, not one, not two, but 3 tropical systems. Meteorologist Jamie Martin is tracking them right now in Severe Weather Center 9. Jamie?
Yeah, good afternoon, Cynthia, and good afternoon, everybody. And as we head into the evening hours, things still looking pretty good across Central Florida locally. But boy, I tell you what, the tropics just becoming a nightmare out there, folks. Lots of things to talk about. Let's get right into it. Show you some of the evening thunderstorms that we're dealing with around New Smyrna Beach, also up towards Daytona Beach. You can see some showers out here just now moving the way offshore. So if you're out there surfing at the inlet, watch out. Boy, this thing is really rocketing through the area right now. Also up towards Wilbur by the Sea and over towards the Speedway. Also to the south of there, over towards Sebastian, Vero Beach. Some very strong thunderstorms, not being deemed severe thunderstorms, but a lot of excessive lightning being put out by these storms right now. So very dangerous conditions out along the coastal sections of Central Florida with some of these storms. Let's put all this in motion for you and get into it right now and show you what's been going on. As far as the radar is concerned, as you can see, things really getting active during the afternoon. Had about a 40% coverage of showers and storms, and that's what we kind of have to get used to, because that's about the picture coming up over the next couple of days as we see everything kind of quieting down now that our tropical systems have moved off. So we're looking at a pretty typical afternoon shower and thunderstorm regime coming up over the next couple of days. Okay, first one, Tropical Storm Gaston, moving its way now in towards the border here of North and South Carolina. Winds 40 miles per hour, so it's dying off rather quickly. It's going to continue to accelerate off to the north, and it's not going to be a problem. It will be a big rainmaker, though, for the eastern parts of North Carolina and Virginia before it moves out. And again, there is our newest tropical storm. Hermine is what this one's called. 40-mile-per-hour winds right now. It's a minimal tropical storm. It's actually just going to start to scoot its way off towards the northwest, and eventually it's going to merge in about the next 2 days with what's left of Gaston and then eventually move off. So that's not going to be a problem. The one that's going to be a problem, possibly for the state of Florida, is this one. It's the big one. It's the one with 135-mile-per-hour winds that's been moving its way across the Atlantic. We've been watching it very carefully. Hurricane Francis, 18.8 north, 55.6 west. Again, winds of 135 miles per hour. So it's a strong Category 4 hurricane already, and it's moving to the west at 9 miles per hour. And unfortunately, it is taking that track that we're expecting. We don't want it to do that. We'd love to make it kind of do a little bit of a turn to the north. Now, the official track keeps it on that west motion over the next 48 hours. After that, day 3, 4, and 5, it starts to take a little more of a jog to the north. And what we're hoping is that ridge breaks down just enough to keep it on that northward movement and take it either up towards the Carolinas, or keep it offshore. But, boy, we sure don't need it here in Central Florida. We've had enough already, folks. Here's a look at the next 5 days. It won't be too bad coming into the beginning of the week. Even into the middle of the week, we're just looking at about a 40% chance of rain. What we're going to have to watch for, of course, is by Friday and Saturday, by the beginning of your Labor Day weekend, could be looking at some pretty rough weather across the state of Florida or somewhere else in the southeast as Francis draws its way closer. Lots of warm water to work off of, too. Could be a Category 5 as it approaches.
All right, thanks. Staying busy back there. And the Bucks were busy sending the Miami Dolphins reeling in Tampa last night. Here was Coach Gruden thinks about his team so far. Coming up next in sports.
Early Warning Doppler 9000 is sponsored by
Toyota of Orlando on West Colonial Drive. As Channel 9's local expert, Ace Hardware is your helpful place for all your home and garden needs.
Florida's environment is key to our quality of life and to our economy. But in Washington, some say you can't protect jobs and protect the environment. That's just political double talk. I'm Alex Pinellas, and I approve this message.
In the Senate, I'll fight to ban offshore drilling in Florida, to protect the Everglades, our coastline, our air and water, and the workers who rely on those natural resources. Visit my website for the details.
The best way to create jobs and strengthen our economy is to protect our environment, not exploit it.
You've been waiting all year for this moment to arrive. The one and only clearance at your Lincoln Mercury dealer. Get model year-end savings on Mercury Grand Marquis with 5-star safety. Now the best value in its class just got better. With 0% APR financing for 60 months. Or up to $5,000 cash back, including $1,000 Ford credit cash. See your Lincoln Mercury dealer today.
Hollison's Howell Branch Funeral Home, providing courteous, affordable funeral care.
Log on today and make icflorida.com your homepage.
Here's a look at tonight's primetime lineup on Channel 9. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Get the feeling, Toyota.
Hot off of I-4, Zach is back from Tampa. How was it?
It was a great game. The Bucks look good early, they look good throughout, and they get the victory. They're 2-1 on the year. The starters played almost the entire first half. The defense returned to its nasty self, and the Bucks get the victory over Miami while staying healthy in the process. That, my friends, is a perfectly executed preseason plan. Last night against Miami, Brad Johnson had his best outing of the 2004 campaign, completing 8 of 12 passes for 72 yards. Chris Sims solidified his play as the team's #2 quarterback by going 11 of 13 for $145, and linebacker Ryan Neese once again hurt the Dolphins as this 56-yard interception return for a TD was the difference. The Bucks get the 17-10 victory, and the head coach was all smiles afterwards.
I can't say enough about the work ethic that we have going right now. And they know what it's going to take. It's fundamentals, it's technique, it's discipline, it's the effort, and it's the speed in which they're going to play. That's the air we breathe. And so far, so good. I like this team a lot.
Tonight, I felt like we did a great job. I feel like we're improving, and I learn from scheme to scheme every week. I want to finish up strong with Houston and get ready for the regular season against Washington.
All right, for you fantasy football freaks out there, you might now want to draft Giants quarterback Eli Manning with one of your early picks. This afternoon, head coach Tom Coughlin said he will go with two-time MVP Kurt Warner as the team starter when the New York Giants open up the season against Philly. Despite a $45 million contract and the title of being the first overall pick in the NFL draft, Manning will start the year holding a clipboard. Citing his experience in recent play, Coughlin goes with Warner, who was 9 of 11 for a $104 against the Jets, while Manning was brutal in his last preseason outing. He went 4 of 14 for just 20 yards and 2 interceptions. It is the first time since his redshirt year in 2000 in Mississippi that Manning will be designated to a backup role. The Ryder Cup is just under 3 weeks away, and now Colin Montgomery and Luke Donnell will have something to do the weekend of September 17th. European captain Bernhard Langer chose the duo to complete his roster. It is the 7th Ryder Cup team for Monty, who has an impressive record of 16, 7, and 5. On the course of the TPC River Highlands, the final round of the Buick Championship, this is Lake Mary's Zach Johnson on the par 4 15th. 296 yards, so he hits the driver and hits it to 4 feet 8 inches. Johnson with a 466, he birdies the final 5 holes. This one goes into a playoff between Woody Austin and Tim Herron. The first playoff hole after Herron pars, Austin for the bird and the victory, and he gets it. Woody Austin wins the Buick Championship. It is his first win since 1995, second career ever, of course. We'll have much more in this, plus the Bucks, the Dolphins, and Jags tonight on Sports Night on 9.
Busy night.
Busy night as always.
Thanks, Zach. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, tonight on Eyewitness News at 11, state emergency management leaders are in Orlando tonight trying to figure out what they'll do if Hurricane Francis heads our way, as the track is showing right now, especially since we're still recovering from Hurricane Charlie. We'll have details for you tonight at 11 on that, or if you prefer news at 10, join us for Action News on WRDQ TV 27. And for more information on the stories we brought you tonight, log on to our website at WFTV.com. Thanks for watching Channel 9 Eyewitness News coverage you can count on. We leave you now with a shot from the coast. There it is. She's supposed to go up in about a half an hour. Weather is a concern at this moment, though. The Atlas II is set to go up. If it does go up, we're going to carry it live for you right here on Channel 9. Until then, see you tonight, everyone.